A man identifying himself as New Orleans jail escapee Antoine Massey has posted videos to social media while on the run from law enforcement. This right here, a quick portion of one of those lengthy videos from Fox News. Take a listen.
So I'm asking for help from the world, from Donald Trump. I'm asking for these people. I couldn't even get a lawyer. I couldn't even afford a lawyer to prove my innocence while I was in Orleans Parish Jail. They say that I broke out. I didn't break out. I was let out. My name is Antoine Massey.
All right, and again, that is courtesy Fox News right there, as law enforcement searched a home Monday where they say they believe the videos were filmed, but still there's no sign of Massey. However, they reportedly located the clothing that Massey is believed to have been wearing during the filming. That is according to information obtained by the Associated Press. The search is still underway for Massey and convicted murderer Derek Groves more than 2 weeks after 10 inmates broke out from a New Orleans jail. 8 of those inmates have since been recaptured. The Orleans Parish Sheriff has called on Massey to, quote, come forward and turn himself in. Massey was jailed on charges for rape, kidnapping, and domestic violence. Now, in the videos, Massey claims that he did not escape, but was let out, and you saw it in that video right there. A lot to discuss about the case moving forward here. I do want to bring in Rob D'Amico, the host of Inside the Line with Rob, the YouTube podcast. He is also a retired FBI agent. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thank you, Josh.
Of course. And first off, I did want to ask you overall, because, again, it appears this is the escapee, but there's a lot of uncertainty over the whole situation here. But did want to ask, if you have a suspect who is maybe posting on social media, how does that both help and hurt the search efforts?
I think it only helps, actually. As you saw, they found the location where it was probably uploaded. Don't know if it was, they're probably matching to see if it was actually filmed there too. So obviously the person that lives there now has probably charges against them. They have clothing that they can check DNA, but for mostly, you know, his facial tattoos really kind of give him away on such. But when you upload a video, they don't understand all the metadata and stuff that goes into that. So I'm sure that they found the IP address of the location where it was uploaded, and then they found the location of the house. So he's given information away, and it really takes them, if they were looking out 4 or 5 states and it's still in New Orleans or it's still local, but it's giving them a spot that he was at a certain time, and then they just put the circle around that depending on time. So it's really narrowing it down for the police, so to speak.
One thing I was going to ask here is, you kind of mentioned it, but those facial tattoos, they are very distinct. It's very easy to see those there on the left-hand side of your screen. But to what extent can authorities maybe trace or geolocate a fugitive using this video metadata? Because it sounds as though they were able to track down the house. They were able to go there. No sign of Massey, but it seems they were able to do that pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's once you have they have the search warrants out there, and then they can figure out who, you know, Instagram has a law enforcement liaison that you send the request for. We do it in kidnappings all the time, even overseas, when people post stuff to Facebook and Instagram and all those social media things. There's a whole process to quickly get that information. And the biggest thing is the IP that the video is uploaded from. And then once you have the IP, you can narrow it down. So the cyber things, again, people don't understand how much data goes into being able to do something cyber. And then they have a time frame when he was at the house. So they can actually now start looking at all the different electronics that were touching that tower at the same distance, that were, I would actually take his router to see what other devices were connected to the Wi-Fi there, and then start going down that road. And you can also start looking at commercial ID data. It's not instantaneous. Commercial ID data is, because you know his location, you can narrow it down to him.
What role do maybe family members, people that live in the home, kind of play in all of this when it comes to revealing some of the locations where maybe these videos were filmed, whether it's intentional or unintentional?
Yeah, again, they don't understand what you can do nowadays, because especially the process of elimination. So once you know he was at a location, and then you can figure out whose other the family members had phones there. You can check them off the box, and this one that isn't there now kind of leads to it. We did that back in the old days of spycraft, when flights would come in from somewhere. We knew someone that we wanted was on it. You take a reading of all the devices that turn on when that plane lands. And then if you're looking for them somewhere else, like 20 miles away, you turn your equipment on, and the one that matches to the plane that came in, you have your person. So it's an understanding of this, and people don't get it, but it's a great tool. The marshals are really up on this. And again, you get into the commercial ID stuff. You can do it historically, even see where devices were at, and then days before you can see where those devices were at and see if they link up and stuff. So he's professing his innocence that obviously should be done in court. He's escaped a number of times beforehand. I'm surprised he did this, because again, it gives them that spot location of a time where he was at, and now you can start looking at the ring of where he could be in relation to that. So he thought he was doing something that maybe helped them, but it's not at all. No one's going to listen to this I was innocent type of thing. Everyone in jail is innocent. And the fact that he was let out, the video of him running out with the other escapees, you can say that all you want. You were let out, but you didn't have to go, and the video proves it.
The Orleans Parish Sheriff hasn't really said much about these social media videos. They haven't been shared by the Sheriff's Department. What are some of the benefits and maybe drawbacks of the Sheriff's Office doing just that?
Well, a lot of times you don't want to let the people that you're looking for understand what you have and what you can get from it. So they're trying to keep a close hold until maybe that starts coming out. And especially if you get locations from it and then you start arresting the people that helped them, you want to get him to keep doing this. You want him to keep posting, because eventually you're going to get to where you get him at that time, especially if you're tracking him in areas and you're up on cell towers and you're looking for a specific device. As soon as it goes live, you can then get to a certain location. If he starts uploading things, again, you get that IP and you can move to it. So it's a combination of old, fugitive hunting tactics and new technology that are really coming together to put this manhunt to the final two.
Could they also be used in a sense, because this has been brought up by several experts, that they could almost be a distraction tool, because you have detectives and law enforcement thinking, oh, they're at this location because they just posted this, but it was actually shot days and days ago and they're gone.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it that way. I don't know if they're smart enough to do that intentional play, like, hey, I'm going to film this and then I'm going to release it 2 days later at this location and puts them there. They still have a ton of resources, and they go to that. But again, once you had a time and place, if you can figure out when it was filmed, you can look at the history of electronic devices there, and that gives you that okay, this is the one, or these 4 are the ones, and we can start looking for those. So they may think they're playing that way, but it's still giving information that allows them to start weeding down to a location. And now you're looking for specific devices instead of general devices on cell towers and other data.
Rob D'Amico, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Anything else you want to add about this before I let you go?
Now, you look at it, and I predicted like probably 7 or 8 of them would be caught within the local area. Now these 2. This one is attracting attention. You're not hearing anything from the other one, who's the convicted murderer. He's probably kind of rolling his eyes, trying to get as far away as he can without making any headlines like this. And he may be thinking like, okay, this guy's taking all the resources because he's doing this, and this guy's trying to move further away. But again, they still have to stay within a base where they have support, clothing, food, money. I don't think they have that to get out of the country yet. They may be trying to do it, but that's a lot more resources to, let's say, get down to Mexico and escape there.
All right, Rob D'Amico, thank you again for being here with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And don't forget, we are following all of the latest on the search for those inmates, but also the inmate, the former police officer who they're looking for in the Ozarks. We will have complete coverage here, as we always do, on Live Now from Fox.